Okay. So for integration, what does it mean by integration and how that happens? Like there would be 3 4 classes to cover all these things. So first class is only for understanding what is integration, what are the types of integration, what we try to achieve using integration. Okay. So integrate means you are actually connecting two things, right? That is integration. Now, when we are saying integrating something with Salesforce, that means there is some other application. That application we are connecting to that application, or that application is connecting Salesforce. Anyway, there would be a communication between two systems. Indranil. So what I was saying, like integration means connecting two systems. Okay. So when we are saying that we are integrating Salesforce with some other application, say SAP or anything, then that means we are going to communicate with that system. And it is vice versa. Like the other system can also connect to Salesforce. Now, this thing is actually, let me open something else, that is, I share my screen. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So when we are saying that we are integrating something with Salesforce, that means we are actually uh, communicating with that system, or that system is communicating with us. So it is, if it is Salesforce, and if we are saying that there is something else called some XYZ system, then that means there would be some relation between these two after implementing that integration, right? So it can be of from Salesforce to XYZ system, or it can be that system to Salesforce. Okay. So when we are connecting with something, like Salesforce is our base, right? So whenever we would be like, there are two types of integration. So that is, Salesforce is accessing XYZ system, or Salesforce XYZ system is accessing Salesforce. So there can be two-way things. So one is called inbound, other one is called outbound. So whenever, like inbound, you can understand something is coming in, and outbound means something is going out. So if we are like, as we are working with Salesforce, and if we are connecting something, then that would be outbound from Salesforce. And if some other system is connecting Salesforce, that would be inbound for Salesforce. So we will be talking from the terms of Salesforce, right? Now, how that works, what is the way, or what are the things we are trying to achieve using this? First thing is that there is some data in Salesforce or in this system. So practically we are trying to access data of another system, right? So the simplest thing is that in Salesforce we have the objects, we are storing data there. If we have to provide some access to XYZ system so that they can connect Salesforce and take this data, then that is inbound to Salesforce. If this is outbound, like, then Salesforce would be accessing some other system, and it can access data from that application. Now, it can happen that we have two different Salesforce instance. Okay. So, say production 1 and production 2. Now, it might happen that we might need to connect from one system to another system of Salesforce as well. That will also go through integration. So, that is also possible. Now, uh, so I believe till now you have understood what is integration, what is the purpose of integration, that is accessing data of another system, and what is inbound integration and what is outbound integration, right? Now, if we think about specifications of inbound or outbound, like when we are exposing data, when Salesforce is exposing data, what are the ways we can do that? There are some configurable ways, there are some customized ways. Customized means where you have to write code. Otherwise, there are there can be different things by which we can access Salesforce. Salesforce is giving multiple ways to do that. And for that, there are from coding perspective, there is something, there is through uh, configuration also, it is possible. You can just connect and you can fetch data. So, what are those ways? Let's understand the basic parts, like how you can connect to Salesforce. Like this one, how you can connect Salesforce from outside. So, first thing is that you have to create one uh, connected app. The connected app is the gateway to connect to Salesforce. What is connected app? If we go to anything, any, uh, let me log in. So we have created normal custom apps previously. Now there is another thing which is called connected app. So what is connected app? Let me see if there is any connected app or not. Connected but managed. Okay. So all these connect, like you can see for Workbench, you use Workbench, right? So what is Workbench? From outside Salesforce, you are connecting Salesforce, and with this thing, you are accessing data of Salesforce. So internally, Workbench connected app that is already present, and managed means we haven't created that. Someone else has created it. Okay. So let me see if there is any unmanaged one. Okay. If not, let's create one. Why it is not opening in Lightning? I'm not sure. Is there? Manage. Mhm. Connect Postman. This one is there. This one I have created previously.
But sir, how to create this? Actually, I'm not getting that.
I will show you.
There's no new button I can see.
No, no, it will be from that manage app where I have gone previously. From there, you can create it. But why it is not
Yeah.
opening, that I'm not sure. Anyway, let me check that in. From app manager itself, you can create connected app. So you can see new lightning app, new connected app. This is the one I was trying to. What is happening? Your browse. Okay, let me try to do that from. Just give me one minute. Hopefully now we can see this. Right. So when we are looking into any connected app means something by which you can connect Salesforce from outside. So here what will happen, like you will have two things. When you are generating this, you will have two things. One is consumer key and secret. So if you click on this, you will get the value. Now with this value, you can connect. There are some other information as well, like what is the callback URL, like if it is connected properly. The other things are also there. uh, so whether it is the security part and the token part are there. What is a token? Token is a value by which you can access this. So what is the way to connect? That is one of the thing. So before that, and you also have this IP range and trusted IP and all these things you can configure when you are creating any connected app. Now, how you can create connected app? In app manager, why it is taking so long? Guys, just give me 2 minutes. I'm coming back. I have to change the Wi-Fi, I believe, because it is quite slow. So let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, it is visible.
All right. So say I am creating one new connected app. So what I have to do, I have to give the name, API name, then the contact email by which you like, if there is anything, the in this email, the email will be going. You can provide the logo and all. Enable OAuth settings. This is one of the important thing. Ideally, we should be doing this. Callback URL I have shown you, like where it will launch. You can just provide specific URL. Then digital signature is not that much important for every, like some of the clients use digital signature, some other don't. So I'm not going to that. This is the important part. What access you are going to provide. So there is analytics, there is lightning application, there are other things. If initially you are creating something, provide full access, because full access is one of the thing by which anything and everything you can access. But remember another thing, when you are, this is part of the security. So whenever you are exposing something, you need to really think about what you are going to provide, type of what type of data you are going to expose to that application. So full access is something you can avoid different types of error. Manage user data via API. This is one of the thing which most of the application will use. But anyway, if you are giving full access, that means you are giving everything to that application. Require secret for web service flow. What is that? Enter the required client secret from the connected app definition if the connected app has required secret for web service flow enabled. So this is one of the configuration we should be doing. This access key, access token, how that is used, I will tell you in some time. Request secret for refresh token flow. What is refresh token? That I will also tell you. Now, let's, and you can just put these things. Web app settings is not that much important. uh, Mobile app settings you can, like, if you are connecting from mobile, so those things you can put. Also there is another thing called canvas. One after another we will come to these things. Let's go to uh, the one which I have previously created.
One question at a moment.
Right.
Like the callback URL, you are telling that we need to provide the URL. So from which URL, like the destination URL or the source URL?
Callback URL is the destination URL where it should launch after proper login.
Okay, means after integrating everything, right?
Example, login.salesforce.com service auth to callback. This
Mhm.
is the URL. Enter URLs one per line. Do not separate entries with comma. This is the thing. Like this URL, whatever you are seeing here, this is uh, if you are connecting with auth, and it should come back to some specific URL that you should be using here.
Okay.
in your application. Okay.
Okay.
Now you can see the other things I haven't given. Uh, it is fine. Now, if I have to connect through this with this connected app, what I have to do? So, using Postman, Postman is one of the uh, Postman is one of the tool by which you can connect this, like you can try to connect from Postman to Salesforce. So if you are creating one connected app and if you want to uh, access data from outside Salesforce, you can test that using this tool called Postman. I had one Postman sign in. Oh, it has got signed out. Just give me 1 minute. Forgot. I forgot which one I have created. But anyway, this is the platform you can use by which you can connect. Now,
Postman is like it's a career, means like from sales.
Postman is a platform which is giving you the access or the way to connect to any system, any application. Now you can connect Salesforce also from Postman. That is
Mm-hmm.
fine, but
Mm-hmm.
like I have already created couple of them, but that is not working right now. Let me.
Means like any system like the source and the destination. Here for integrating we require a source URL and one is destination URL, right? So for
No,
like
source URL is what you need. Destination is not some, like source means where you are going to connect,
hmm,
right? So
hmm,
that connect is the thing that's what you have to do. Like for Salesforce, this is the platform where from where you are calling. So what you need some URL, like this is like the test.salesforce.com which I have given.
hmm,
That's where it will connect. Now with test you can connect to any test environment of Salesforce, like sandbox. Now, the specific sandbox you want to connect, it must have one connected app, and that connected app should give you this client ID and client secret. Okay,
Yes.
so that client ID and client secret is the thing which you can get from this thing,
Mm.
this connected app. When you are creating this connected app, from this consumer key and secret you are seeing here,
Mm-hmm.
uh, manage will not work. I don't want to put, but anyway, let me check. So this is the value, right? You can
Okay.
copy this value. This is consumer key, and that consumer key would be used somewhere. Uh, this is the consumer key, and this is the consumer secret.
Mm-hmm.
This one you have to use when you were connecting to uh, any application through Postman or anywhere else. Okay. Now, how we can connect that? Let's check it. Uh, so this is the trail you have to follow.
Okay.
Mm, and you should be completing this by next week. Okay.
Okay.
So what we have collections, workspace. Where is workspace? This is workspace. Let me go to my workspace, and once we go to that workspace, Salesforce collection, you can create one. Do I have anything called Salesforce collection? Yes, I already have. Okay. Now, here you can, like with this new request, you can put the gate URL and the details as well. Like you can just go step by step. This one to fork, I have already forked it. So if you go to environment like this, I have already forked it. Okay. And this is the client ID. Is this the same one? I believe no. Anyway, it will not work because first this needs to be changed. This needs to be changed to login. Right. And from here also I have to change the change this to full access. Anyway, it will take some time. So there is no point to go through this one after another. It is simple steps you can just follow, and once you are done, um, you can test this connection, and the simple thing like how you can get the details. So it is the way you can this is the way. And this settings is little important. You cannot get that settings everywhere. Now this is the settings where you have to enable the things. Okay, in this guideline, whatever you are seeing here, it will say that the settings will be okay. They're saying the same thing probably. Yes. So here you can see the settings where you can update the details in the settings. This one you will try, but before that, quick recap for Muniwala as well. Like when we are trying to integrate, integration means connecting two systems or two applications. So when we are doing that from Salesforce, we will say like from Salesforce to some other system. There can be outbound to Salesforce or this can be inbound to Salesforce. Right now, we are looking into inbound to Salesforce. Inbound to Salesforce means XYZ system. That system is actually connecting Salesforce from outside and it will take data from Salesforce. So, what are the things we need to do? Like this connection is happening over internet. Okay, so the internet connection is there. Now with this internet connection, what we can do, there are different ways to connect to another system. The latest technology is OAuth 2, which we would be using. Okay, what is OAuth 2? Go and read it. If you don't understand anything, I will explain that. But what is OAuth 2? That is, there is a very specific standard definition for that. You have to understand this thing. OAuth 2. Okay. This one, go to Google and just search and then read. So with this OAuth 2, we will be connecting this with this protocol, and there are specifications of that. When you are connecting through this, there you need some uh, consumer key and consumer secret. This consumer key and consumer secret is the identification by which you can identify where you are connecting, actually where you are connecting. Now there can be different types of flows. I am not going to in details of those flows right now, but there are ways to connect that. So you can use username and password because you have identified you are going to connect Salesforce. Now you have got some URL, but after that URL, you should be getting some you should be using some username and password. Okay, the way I was connecting and I was showing you, that would not use the username password flow. Ideally, we should not be using username password because over internet sending your username and password every time is not a good way to connect anywhere. Just give me 1 minute. Hello. Oof. Uh, Ideally, you should not be sending your username and password over internet for multiple times. Why so? Because you know, like there are so many things right now, phishing tools and spams and other monitoring your network. All these things happen. So someone can just extract that username and password and going forward use that and connect that system, right? So that is not the secured way of connecting. Instead, what you can do, using that username and password, you will generate one key or one token. So that token will actually identify yourself or whoever is connecting. That person will get, like, the token will be the identifier for that person or for that connection, rather to say. Now again, that if that connection, like if that token is being used every time, then also it will get, like, it can get exposed and someone can extract that key and utilize that. So there should be some way by which your token should get changed, right? So that thing in your connected app, you can go and you can go to your connected app and you can set up this like by which time your token will get expire. Here token valid for 0 hours. I can keep that max for 24 hours probably. I cannot remember the maximum value. So by some time this token will get expired, and you will your token will get refreshed, and that refreshed token you will get here. Okay, so initial access token you can generate with that initial one, that is the first time you will be accessing that. And then this is the initial access token value, and then with the subsequent call the token will get refreshed. Require secret for refresh token flow. This is what the refresh token flow I was talking about. So do you need that? Require secret for web service flow. So these are the configurations you can do for any managed like any connected app. Okay, in your connected app settings, this connected app settings will actually give you the way the this is the gateway to connect to your system. Now you have connected in the system, then what you can do, how you can access data. Now how you can access data through code, I am going to explain that thing today. How we can connect and access other things, I will come in the subsequent classes. So for now just understand this thing, that how you can access that data. First you have given this thing, so you can access data in some format. There would be some format. So one is the JSON format, one is the XML format. Okay, what is JSON? JSON is nothing but a key value pair. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. And how it works, like it will be some identifier and the key value pair. So you were sending different uh, employee details. So how those employee details you will get? First name John, last name Doe. First name Anna, last name Smith. So you can see the separators are, the whole thing will be within 1 second bracket. Now, if you are putting some collection of objects, then you have to mention the object name. Then you have this third bracket. Within that third bracket, you will get individual rows of that object. And within every second bracket you can get the single record, and those records will have this key value pair. This is just the key value pair, and comma is the separator. If there are 15 more fields, so you can just put comma and put those values. So in Salesforce, how it works? In Salesforce, it is nothing but from Workbench we can check this, how this JSON format comes. Uh, in Salesforce, it would be the field name and then the field value. That's how it will show. Let me try to see uh, Workbench if I have. So this is the REST Explorer. In REST Explorer, there would be specific URL, and before this slash, it is the URL uh, of your system. This is the URL. This is the URL you would have. Now, say you want to get account details. So you can see all the, this is one thing called raw response. Raw response is nothing but the actual JSON format. So this is the header and all these things. This is actually the object description of account, what you were seeing right now. So after account, if you put the ID, then that will come. Okay. So say, no, ideally account or accounts, what I have given. This is the object description, what you can see. These all are actually stored in Salesforce at the background, what generally you cannot see. And this is whatever you are seeing here, like all these things. This is the raw response of JSON. I cannot see what else is there. Hide raw response. You can see all these things like this layouts. This will actually give you all the layouts of account what we have. You can see this URL, right? SVG is for image. So if you need to have any uh, if you need to have any, my bad, I should not have done that. Back will not work. So if you need to show any, if you need to get details of any account, you can just put that account ID, or you can put the query as well. Let me show you some query. So this is simple SOQL, but in some different format. Wherever you are using the space in your SOQL, see you are using plus instead of space here. Now, if you execute this, you will get 10 records, or you will get error because there is two slash. So total 10 records you can see here. Okay, if you click on this, you will see these records here. Now you are not going to get this data in this format. How you are going to get this data when you are actually integrating? This is the way you can get this data. This is the JSON format, and this is the standard way of returning JSON data from Salesforce without using any code. You don't need to use any code here. But you can see like total 10 records it will return, and here you can see this ID and name. Okay, why ID and name I can see? Because I have used only ID and name. If I use account, so phone should be another. You can see now phone is also coming. There is no phone number, that's why it is null. And whatever the, it is giving you the URL as attribute as well, because this is another way of accessing this data. If you just put this URL, you can get details of this record. Let me just copy this one. So before service, whatever the initial URL you want to provide, that you have to provide before this slash. Now let's use this thing. What it will give me? It will give me single record of uh, account. This is the account record. You can see all these field values are there.
One thing,
Mhm.
sorry to interrupt. Like you have told that before service we need to provide the URL. So for URL like login.salesforce.com or test.salesforce, like every,
Depending on the box you are providing access.
yeah, I want to say that every project we have same URL, but after putting some login credential it's going to the different URL, right? So if I want to get some particular org data, then how can we fetch?
So here you have already logged in with Workbench. So I have logged in my developer box. Okay, that's why it is giving, like, from here I can get this, like with this URL I am getting this data.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have to connect from outside Salesforce, there you have to provide whether it is login.salesforce.com or test.salesforce.com, uh, depending on the org or environment you are giving access to that external application. You have to provide. Okay, when you are seeing this, like say there is one application which is connecting Salesforce, what
Mm-hmm.
you have to do? You have to provide that connected app. You have to create that connected app first, provide that secret key and client ID and client secret to them.
Mm-hmm.
Once they connect with that client ID and client secret, there is way to show that there are trailheads to configure the whole thing. One I have already given to you. If you complete that, you will understand what you have to do. And once you complete that, then you can just hit this URL. Before this service, there would be https colon double slash
Mm-hmm.
either test.salesforce.com or login.salesforce.com, depending on which org you are providing access.
Mm-hmm.
If it is production, you will provide login.salesforce.com, or
I
you can
understand.
provide test.salesforce.com, or
Mm.
you can provide this customized URL as well.
All the URL,
This
full.
URL, this URL,
Okay.
not the full one. Anyway, this this is the URL you have to provide before
Okay.
that service.
Yeah. This is that project for project specific, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Where you have your domain is already configured, you should be providing this, you can provide this as well.
Okay.
So this thing should give you the complete URL. Like this part in Workbench, you are getting this relative URL because you have already logged in, right? Now you can see this details. This is nothing but key value pair you are getting. Check that for null, it is not in double quotes. For number, it is not in double quotes. For boolean, it is not in double quotes, except that everything will be in double quotes. You can see this ID is in double quotes, date time is in double quotes. Uh, if there is any string, obviously that would be in double quotes.
Date time is also considered as text.
Yes. So this name is in double quotes. So this quotes and comma, that you should be aware of. That you should be aware of. Anyone saying anything?
No, no, I'll just.
Okay. Okay. So this first thing is that this is the JSON format. Okay. There is another format which is called XML format. XML stand for this markup language.
Yeah, extensible markup language. Yes.
Now XML is a markup language like HTML. What is HTML? Hypertext markup language, by which you can design this web
Web
page
page.
and all. Um, if I put inspect, you can say this. This is HTML. Whatever you are seeing here, it's HTML. Now, XML does not do anything. XML will only give you the data format. This is note, this is to, from, header, body. These are the tags, right? If this thing is converted into HTML, what will happen? You will see all these things like for parent ID, there will be angular bracket, parent ID, then the value, and there would be the closing tag, that is the slash parent ID. That's how it will work, like heading slash heading. So within this, your data will be uh, encapsulated within this tag, right? So this is nothing but XML and JSON, nothing but expressing the data format or pushing or providing your data in different format, but it has some other significance. First thing, XML is heavyweight, JSON is lightweight. From this you can see, like here, you are using this word twice to capture this. Also, you have this so many angular brackets. So anyway, always remember that JSON is lightweight and XML is heavyweight. Second thing is that when we are providing data, the default from Salesforce to any other system, the default without coding format is JSON format. If we are using like there are two ways to connect Salesforce. Okay, one is the REST format. Okay, and another one is the uh, what is that called? Uh,
So,
yes, SOAP. Another format is SOAP format. So SOAP format and REST format, what is the difference between these two? I haven't come to that till now, uh, because I just wanted to give you at least the understanding like what you are going to get or what you are going to expose. Now, soap is something like soap and rest are two different ways to connect to any application. So the default I would say way of accessing data using soap is XML. In REST, we can just provide SOAP or REST, but in Salesforce, the default way without writing any code, uh, if you have to provide that data using REST, that is the JSON format. That is not the XML format. Okay. If you have to provide XML format, using REST, when somebody is connecting through REST, then you have to provide like the whole thing, like you have to write the code to generate that XML and then expose that XML. Okay. So if someone is asking for XML format, it is better to provide them SOAP rather than REST. And what is the difference between SOAP and REST? That you need to understand now. So there is a long list. You can just read through this. The basic important thing is that when you are using soap and race, this is the difference. Okay, it is quite good written. You go through this, then next class I will come to the. This is the introductory class where I just want to give you uh, all the basic things to you. So soap and rest are two different ways to connect. Now, if you have to provide soap, soap is the way to get the data using soap is XML. In REST, the default way is JSON in case of Salesforce. Okay. In like with REST also, we can provide XML, but you have to write code for that. That is another part. Now, if you have to provide for soap, if you have to provide like what you have to provide the XML and the data format, uh, not this one. In classic it was easy. Let me go to classic. Like you can expose the whole object format in what to say, um let me check that from where we can generate that uh, soap object structure to provide to someone, like provide to some other application. If you generate that, it would be a very heavy XML, which you will you will provide them, they will parse it and they will generate, they will get whatever they want, like the object structure, the classes, everything will be there. So anyway, that would be that is called WSDL, which we have to provide. So here we can provide from Salesforce, we can provide uh, two types of WSDL, that is WSDL. Web Service Description Language is called WSDL. Now for WSDL in Salesforce, there can be enterprise or there can be partner visual or enterprise visual. That's what we can provide. Okay. So enterprise visual is the strongly typed, like everything, whatever is there, everything will be there. The partner visual is loosely typed, loosely casted, and the partner visual can be used to reflect against, interrogate any configuration of Salesforce. Okay, like all the things, the custom fields and objects, and if there is uh, any class which you want to expose, that also you can provide with Wisdom. So how you can download? There are ways like setup integration API. Click to download Wisdom, and then you can download this thing. This is the partner one. This is another thing you have to understand. Okay, so let me round up what we have learned till now. First thing, what is integration? That is connection between two application, whether it is inbound or outbound, depending upon which application you are working on. From Salesforce, if I am connecting something else, it would be outbound to Salesforce. If something uh, some other application connecting Salesforce, like the other way, that is inbound to Salesforce. Today, mostly we have gone through the inbound way and the coding way, like with code or with specific things, how we can access Salesforce. So, what is the way? Like, sorry, we haven't seen any code, but mostly when we are connecting through API, then we can like the coding way of connecting API. There are two types. Like when it is, even it is inbound or outbound, for both of them, there can be two different ways. One is SOAP, one is REST. Except that there are other ways now, like streaming API and all. I am not going into that right now. I will go into streaming API. I will show you streaming API in a specific class. Probably next class, I will show you. Like, first thing is that you try out this Postman thing, like how to connect through Postman. Like, I can just show you here right now, but that will be just wasting of time, because anyway you have to do that of your hand in your org, in any of the org. You can connect to Salesforce, like inbound to Salesforce. For inbound to Salesforce, you need to have first configuration you need to do is the connected app. Okay, now with this connected app, how it is getting accessed, how it is actually how it will get connected. It will get connected through that client secret and client ID and client secret. Okay, that these two values you have to provide. So from security perspective, how that will work, like you can have the username password flow, but that is not the correct way of connecting, because that has security issues. So ideally you should be using OAuth flow, OAuth 2 flow. Now this OAuth 2, you can use this client ID and client secret, generate one access token. There can be some initial access token. Later you will get the actual access token. And with that access token, you can connect to Salesforce and get the data. That access token can have some lifetime and it can expire. Then the refresh token mechanism will give you the new token. By that new token, you can connect to like you can connect after that. So why you need this, why you need this access token and this refresh token? Because when you are actually using this access token, it will be identified like who is getting, like who is connecting the system. Okay, That part is important. Now, when we are connecting to any application, how we can read data, what is the format? The format can be SOAP or REST. Okay, what is the difference between SOAP and REST? For SOAP, you will get one WSDL file. That WSDL file will be you will actually parse that WSDL to uh, access data. Okay, for JSON, it will be specific details you have to provide. Some URL you will hit from JSON. Sorry, from after integration, you will connect and you will hit specific URL. That URL will give you that data. Okay, so mostly for JSON thing, you have to uh, write your code. Most of the system for Salesforce, it is not like, if you are connecting with REST API and you hit the default like query, like URL query is one of the thing which I have shown you. I can just provide you those, the basics, like that service data version query. So this is the URL query. With URL query, you can access data in Salesforce, and that will give you the REST response. Like in response, you will get data in REST format. Okay. Now, till now, what I have told you, you don't have to write any code, right? You don't need to write any code till now. But going forward, you have to, like, when somebody is connecting Salesforce, then also we might have to write code. We might have to write some code and expose that so that you can access it. Okay. Or there might be other things like you need to provide that data in XML format. For that also you might have to write code. That is one part. And the other part is, which I have not discussed at all, that is when we are connecting something else, some other system. So for that I will show you how to, like, in that situation, like when Salesforce is connecting some other system, then that system will give you that WSDL, right? When some other application is connecting Salesforce, then we would be providing that WSDL, which I have already given you that link. Like, but that link will give you that understanding, like the enterprise WSDL or partner WSDL. In that WSDL, everything Salesforce provides, everything almost. So that is one of the disgusting way to access Salesforce. Better not to do that. So the thing is that this visual will be provided by us when someone is connecting us, connecting Salesforce. If we are connecting someone else, then they will provide us the visual and we have to parse that visual. So I will show you how to parse visual in Salesforce, because how to download visual, that path I have already given to you. Okay. So first thing is that you what you have to do in this week is that go through that connectivity of Salesforce from Postman, because you are not going to get any external system right now. So from Postman, whatever you are getting, you can provide that URL and that details to any system, any external system, whoever is trying to connect Salesforce. Okay. So if they can connect through Postman, they can connect from their own application as well. So that thing you go through first. Then the enterprise visual, go through that, just read it. You don't need to do anything for that. That is the first step. Now the second step, what we will do, we will look into these things, like how we can connect, how we can connect Salesforce, and some code is written by which you can access that thing, like access data uh, where code is involved, and both are inbound to Salesforce. Then outbound from Salesforce, that we will try to look if there is any existing application where we can connect. Otherwise, we can connect from one Salesforce instance to another Salesforce instance. That will also give you that understanding, like that outbound, how that works. Okay. So, any question till now?
Can we do like we can extract the data and see, but we can extract the data and save it to Salesforce or something like that, like from the other system.
There is couple of open API. Uh, from that API, we can do that, but that is the later part. Like when we would be connecting to some other system, like there is some open API to get the weather report. That we will try to connect, and then we will store that in Salesforce. We will do that. But the important thing is how to connect. That is the important thing. Once you get that data, you whatever logic you want to put, you can put that. Important thing to understand how you can connect. Okay. So after these two things, I will tell you about, or I can tell you about streaming API next day, and then we can go for the coding and all. Okay.
Okay.
So
Next.
first, before next class, complete this connection from Postman to Salesforce. I have given you the trailhead. Go through that. It is very simple. Just go through it and try to write some query, URL query, by which you can get data. And try to write some complex query, like where you have related data, like from account you want to provide details of related contacts, and you want to provide related task or something like that, at least two hierarchy. Try to provide that kind of data, because
Okay.
if you do that, most of the integration needs what we have nowadays, like someone is connecting Salesforce and we have to provide data, that part you can cover up by doing this. First thing is that creating one connected app, and then providing them the URL by which they can get the data. By these two things, you can 80% of the requirements you can satisfy with this. If you can do this till this part, that is, you are exposing data to some other application from Salesforce. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So when will be the class for next week?